The spirit of adventure and exploration was a powerful force in the 19th century. It was not absent among theological students. 3 young men and a professor at the seminary of the Reformed Church in America dreamed of ministering in Arabia. In 1889, those dreams began to take shape with the founding of the Arabian Mission and the organization of a support base. James Cantine and Samuel Zwemer then went to Syria to study Arabic. Later, they explored the coasts of the Arabian Peninsula and the Gulf region. They ultimately settled in Basra, Iraq, in August of 1891. From there, Sam Zwemer made his first trips to Bahrain in 1893. With limited medical knowledge, Samuel Zwemer did what he could, but recognized the need for qualified doctors. In late 1893, he wrote, "The need of a medical missionary here is second only to the claim of Basra. In the whole island, with some 50,000 people, there is no doctor. In a place where dentistry is practiced by the use of wedges, hammers, and tongs, and where they fill a hollow tooth with melted lead to ease pain, I have won a score of friends by less painful methods." Doctors joined the Arabian mission and visited Bahrain, but the lack of a proper hospital limited what they could do. Sam Zwemer carried on as best he could. At the end of 1894, he wrote, "If I tell you that I have been called to treat fractures, gunshot wounds, acute mania, cystitis, pneumonia, and other diseases beyond all household remedies and layman diagnosis, I need not urge the absolute necessity of a medical missionary here. The responsibility and anxiety is too much for one not qualified." Things improved somewhat when Samuel Zwemer married Amy Wilkes, a nurse with the Church Missionary Society in Baghdad. The couple settled in Bahrain in 1896, and Amy turned her attention to lady patients and advised her husband in the care of men. In 1900, a married couple, both physicians, arrived in Bahrain. Doctors Sharon and Marion Wells Tomes were recent graduates from Michigan in the USA. With joy and relief, Sam Zwemer wrote, "On September 11th, Dr. S.J. Tomes came to Bahrain from Basra to take up the medical work and make it more worthy of that name than it has hereto been in the hands of a layman." The doctors Tomes initially worked in and from the house occupied by the mission, but this house was far from satisfactory. Dr. Marion Wells Tomes compiled a summary of their first 3 months' experience in Bahrain and concluded it by saying, "Beside these, there have been a large number of minor surgical procedures, and our need of a hospital has been many times emphasized. You can well understand how unsatisfactory it is to send a patient away after operation, knowing he has no better place to go than a tent, which may become so thoroughly soaked that he has no dry place in which to lie, to say nothing of a clean one." In 1901, after prolonged negotiations, His Highness Sheikh Isa bin Ali al-Khalifa, the ruler of Bahrain, sold the missionaries a plot of land outside Manama for the sum of 4,000 rupees. The family of Alfred DeWitt Mason from New York City donated $6,000 for construction of a hospital. A Bahrain-style, purpose-built structure rose on the site. This lovely new building excited all sorts of conjecture. Sharon Tomes wrote, "The natives cannot believe that this new house, which is so much better than the mission house, is to be used only for sick Arabs and not for us to live in. Even though they have been told so often that it is entirely their house, they persist in believing that at least the doctor will live in it, and allows sick people to sleep in the rooms he does not need. The hospital was completed within 1902 and occupied in the final months of that year. At the beginning of the following year, the missionaries gathered in Bahrain for their annual meeting. John Van Ness later reported, "Where a year ago were mat huts, now stands that magnificent building, that glorious monument to the generosity of the Mason family. Like the Savior's arms, its doors are always open to receive the sick in body,